How's it going, guys? This is Sean and
Demetrius.
coming back to y'all for week 9 of the football huddle, where we talk to y'all everything about high school, college, and pro football. Um, so I'll start first with my high school football player that I had the chance to talk to last night week. His name's Kobe Branham. Kobe Branham's a three-star offensive lineman for Southside High School. For the Mavs in Arkansas. He is committed to Arkansas, playing for them next year. Um, he's been a very just talented run blocker for them, standing at 6'7", 335 pounds. He uses his massive size to just kind of bully the defending lineman on the other side, and kind of just takes them out and kind of lays on top of them, and everything you want from an offensive lineman to do in a great run scheme. So he's looking forward to playing next year at Arkansas, and it's been a lifelong dream with him, being from Arkansas and everything, and having the pleasure to play there. He's very excited, so he's enjoying that.
That's always great to hear when you hear linemen just pancaking people.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's the best thing for a lineman. That's what you look for.
that's what you're trying to do. You want those pancake stats up.
For me, I wrote about a quarterback, Brock Stoops. Oh, Stomps, my fault. He's a 6'2" quarterback. He goes to Westminster Christian Academy here in Lafayette. Um, he's Whenever I was interviewing him, he said that he models his game after Brett Favre, and like how he just loves his gunslinging mentality, and how he just able to make any throw possible. And then just watching the tape of his film, you can see that
Mhm.
that's what that's who he looks up to, because just him being able to just deliver from pretty much anywhere. He could be in the pocket, on the run, falling backwards. I feel like there's not a throw that Brock can't make.
Is he? I'm sorry. Did you say he's playing somewhere next year, or is he?
He's currently a junior, so he
Okay.
still has.
He still has the recruiting process to go through right
Yeah.
now. Any solid offers for him yet?
I think some of the offers that he has was, I think, from some D2 schools and a couple NIA schools, but he's trying to. So he's been on multiple visits. I think he said he's been to UL, La Tech, and McNeese, and he plans on going to Nichols and Jacksonville State
So
later this year.
improving his resume and hopefully getting some
Yeah.
better offers. Got you.
But I mean, it's not. I mean, any offer is a good offer, but
No, I mean, I
think,
got zero, so any offer would be better than what I did.
yeah, I mean, of course, if we had offers, we'd be somewhere playing. But
I'd have to play high school football for that, though. So also last week I had the pleasure of watching the Southern Lab uh, versus Kentwood game out in Kentwood. It was a game of the week, very close matchup, and ended 33-31. Southern Lab comes back towards the end of the game. I mean, this game was just offenses were clicking both ways. The game was going back and forth. If one team scored, the other team scored. I mean, the biggest lead of the game was actually from Kentwood when they went up 2 touchdowns. After scoring a touchdown, they kicked the ball off, and the next play, Southern has a wild snap, and pretty much ends up into a quarterback recovers it, quarterback fumbles it again, defense takes it to the house. Just all around horrible play. You don't want to see that as an offensive coordinator or anybody on the Southern Lab side, but it happened, and they went down 2 touchdowns, which everybody thought it was over because momentum was pretty high for Kentwood, but they ended up coming back and getting 33-31. I will say though the thing that both of these teams do need to improve on is their kicking. As a total, kicks of the game, both teams gave up towards the end of the game, started just going for 2-point conversions, because both kickers on both teams made 1 field goal out of 5 or 6.
dang, combined, like,
No, each.
dang.
It was not a good kicking day for anybody. Zero field goals were attempted. They were going for it on 4th down. Obviously, for teams that are up there in the rankings for Louisiana high school football teams, you want to be able to kick field goals and kick extra points, because that's points you're
Yeah.
missing out on. And both these teams have a well, one loss now and two losses now, but both these teams were coming in, pretty high up there in the standings, and you gotta make those points and not miss out on them. That could have changed the game if the one kicker made more.
1 point is better than no points.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I watched the Port Island Pelicans travel to Parkview Baptist Eagles. It was a pretty dominating game for Parkview. It was their homecoming, so I felt like they had to show out.
They were ready to play that.
Just coming out the gate, Parkview had a touchdown, and then the next drive when Port Island got the ball, they forced a turnover, and so from that moment it was just all Parkview basically. Just going into the half, the Pelicans, they had some momentum. They ended up scoring a touchdown, but whatever momentum they had, Parkview just crushed it and then just put the game away by scoring. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and so it was just over from there. It was one play that really stood out. It was a breakdown from the quarterback. He scrambled out. First, he broke a sack. Then he scrambled out, threw a beautiful pass. It was over the defender and then into the corner of the end zone for a toe tap touchdown. It was
Those are great to see.
It was a great play, but it was really just all Parkview.
I mean, Parkview is a great team. I mean, they're up there as one of the best right now, so I expect nothing less. I mean, I have the chance actually to see them this week. UI versus Parkview. I'll be going and attending their game on Thursday. So if y'all, well, the game actually at this point the game's already happened, but I will be seeing them in the near future. So, if you wanna find out what happened in the game, you can go look on our Twitter, and I'll have live updates, and by the time this video is posted, there'll be also an article about the game, so you can get the recap before. Or after I figure all the future assets out. Anyways, what'd you think of college football this week? Anything surprising or anything like that?
The one game that surprised me was the score between Kansas and Oklahoma, and how Oklahoma upsetted. Kansas upset Oklahoma. It was surprising, but that also shows that how Kansas is headed in the right direction. Most people think Kansas is just basketball, but now they're starting to show that they're also a football school as well.
Yeah, always. I mean, I kind of root for more upsets because I think they're more entertaining. Obviously, so it's always fun to see an upset happen, unless it's the Saints. I mean, just any team I root for, honestly. LSU too. I'm very biased over here. Don't want that to happen to them. Obviously, we don't have anything to talk about for LSU since we had a week off to prepare for this upcoming week
for the biggest game.
For the biggest game of the season, I would say. I mean, this game chooses everything. This game has the potential of putting us on a track to, I mean, maybe be the first team to make the playoffs with 2 losses, or at least make the SEC championship. And it all starts on Saturday. Go into Alabama and show what we can do. If we do win this week, which obviously we hope we win, not gonna have some award for that. It will be the first time that Nick Saban has lost to a quarterback, to the same quarterback 2 years in a row, since Drew Brees back in late 90s when he was at Michigan, I think. Not even in his Alabama or LSU days. So Jay Daniels does have some historic chances during this game this week.
Maybe we can recap of what we did last year and try to pull off another upset again. I mean, I know it's not going to be home this time, but you would like to see them go into Tuscaloosa and beat them.
Would love to see them go into Tuscaloosa and beat them.
I feel like that would be, if we're able to pull off this win, I think nobody could stop us. If we are able to go into that hostile environment.
Yeah, I think it definitely proves that we've improved on what we need to improve, and at least are a team that you have to really worry about now, since like our offense is still clicking. If we beat Bama, that means our defense has to do something good. I think I think for this game, for us to win, we need a couple of turnovers, and we just need, I think, Neighbors and Thomas to have a great game together and just have that trio, that offensive trio right there with Neighbors, Thomas, and Jaden Daniels just having a great game. I think they're going to be a vital point of us doing well in this game.
I think another key for us, I think we got to play all 4 quarters.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
if we go up early, we can't get too complacent. I think we got to, if we're up early, we still got to keep our foot on the gas and continue to up the score. I don't care if we got to score 70 points as long as we
That'd be
are
a
still.
great day. That would be a fantastic day if we do that.
As long as we still, I don't want us to get too conservative. When we go up. I mean, I want to say if I want to say when we go up. I don't want us to start trying to milk out the clock. I want us to embarrass them. Really, I mean.
I think every year. That's obvious. We all want to embarrass them every year. I think like if this game gets down to it, it could be a close game like last year, where it can all be decided in the last 6 minutes, and hopefully we figure out the pieces to put us on top of. Obviously on Saturday we'll find out, and it's gonna be a good game. I can tell you that much for sure.
I can't wait. It makes me just want to travel down there, but
I will be at that game, sitting in the very top row, watching as an LSU fan, wearing an LSU jersey, screaming my head off. So don't worry, I'll be there helping.
And then I guess moving on to the NFL. Any surprises on your end? I mean,
So
obviously
obviously,
the Saints won.
before we can talk about the trade deadline a little bit first, because that just ended for us. We're filming at the moment on Tuesday. Not a whole lot of big name trades. There's a couple. I mean, Josh Dobbs went to the Vikings to kind of fill in that role of Kirk Cousins for the rest of the year, since Kirk Cousins just tore his Achilles and is out, and which really kind of sad, because he was having a pretty good year, and as a contract year you don't want to get injured because it just makes it risky to give you money for the future and everything like that. And other little small trades is Donovan Peoples-Jones, a receiver for the Browns, went to the Lions. That's a good
additional piece.
I think it's a good additional piece for him. And now they have the top 3 receivers is Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Peoples-Jones. I think that's a good trio to have with Sam at tight end. And Gibbs had a fantastic game on Monday night. People, I think, are really excited that he's finally getting the ball fantasy wise.
I'm kind of mad at myself because I had Gibbs,
Oh.
but I traded him away because he wasn't producing these last couple weeks, and now I regret it because the person I went against had him. And so
It's the worst when you let go of a player and then they come back to bite you in the butt. But did you get some value for it? Come on.
I think that was a trade I had got Ayuk and Debo for him. I mean, it's been.
It sounds like you're a little biased in this trade, getting the 49ers, both of the 49ers receivers. 49ers also just received a great talent in Chase Young. For a 3rd round pick, which seems like nothing, honestly. I don't know how y'all keep on doing this, but good job, I guess.
I think adding Chase Young, I don't think that fixes the problem, but it sure helps.
100% helps. That's an understatement. That's a scary defense, and now you just made it more scary.
Because at this moment, we have Nick Bosa, Armstead, Hargraves, and Chase Young. Then at a certain point, who do you double? I mean,
you have an offensive lineman at tight ends, and you don't have a tight end anymore. That's what you do. You just have 6 linemen, so you can double 2 people and hope for the best. But I'm glad we don't have to play all this year. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe in the playoffs.
Hopefully. The Saints did come up with a huge win this weekend. It's starting to look like it's clicking on offense. Played well. Derek Carr's probably best game of the season.
I was gonna say I think that's the best game.
It was. No one got mad at each other, so that's a bonus. And everything was seemed to flow well. Michael Thomas. I mean, I think we're just finally doing what we should have been doing all season is just using our players what they're very good at. Michael Thomas is very good at slants and catching in the middle of the field, so we finally started throwing it to him in the middle of the field and letting him do a couple slants. I mean, I get the whole slant boy conversation, but if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. I mean, if they're not stopping it, might as well keep going to it. I
Say
mean,
it more. I don't care. Do better. And finally in the red zone, we're finally running it a lot more, which I think is definitely the better move. Putting Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill in there, they're just hard to stop. They're some tough runners, and Taysom with 2 touchdowns, Alvin with 2 touchdowns, a rushing and receiving one. I mean, that's what we should have been doing the whole time. That's what I've been saying that we should be doing is giving the ball to Taysom in the red zone. And I think we finally have understand that our red zone package next to our let's move the ball field package and kind of just utilizing like Rashid Shaheed. We finally threw him three huge balls and just utilizing our players the best of their ability has been really. I hope we stick with it, and it's been really good for our team this past game.
I think once Taysom Hill gets going, I feel like that's when it's gonna be a good day for the Saints. I mean just watching him, I feel like it just brings like light to the team, you know. I mean, whenever he just gets started, I feel like that makes everybody else get started.
Mm-hmm. There's a stat. I think it's Taysom Hill over 7 or 8 carries a game. Our team has been 17-1. So it just seems like why not give him 7 carries? It seems like it's been working out pretty well for us, and definitely utilizing him, that gadget player, is something that I think our offense needs to do for the rest of the season because he is not someone. I mean, you know what he's doing, and
You can't stop it.
you can't stop it. He's just gonna run through you. He's gonna get those 5 yards, and then he's gonna repeat it. He's just a hard worker, and you got to use that gadget player in the best of your way, the best of your ability.
And I think you can, I feel like if you can't play Taysom Hill straight up, because if you stack the box, he just gonna bomb it over you to Shaheed or Olave, and that just makes it harder for the defense because you can't just have all 8 people in the box just trying to play the run because
I mean, he can't throw. He can. He was a quarterback at one point, guys. So yeah, I agree with you. You can't. And I mean, I do like how obviously his rushing ability is, I think, his best trait right now. He has receiving ability that's pretty good, and he has his throwing ability. But utilizing his rushing ability that can help get into situations like his throwing ability is something that I think is something we work on, where we can have one of those like everybody blitz and we just throw it over to Juwan Johnson or somebody downfield who hopefully can break out for a big game. On other news, how do you feel about the Niners? Tough 3 weeks.
it's been a learning process. I mean, you start off hot, winning 5 straight, and then you drop your next 3. I mean, that just requires a lot of. You just gotta go back and think. I mean, that's just a lot of, okay, what went wrong between this week from us being 5-0 to now dropping 3 straight games, and I think this was a perfect time for a bye week because those were pretty horrible performances by both the offense and the defense. I'm not just gonna put it all on just one side of the ball. I think both sides played horrible in these last couple weeks, and I think there's a lot that we can improve on, and hopefully Chase Young, he can help out the defense, and we won't have to heavily rely on just Nick Bosa and the others to try to bring down Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts whenever we have to face them, and I think we play Lamar later in the season.
Y'all do have a tough schedule coming up after y'all's bye week. I will say that.
So I think this.
I will say the Bengals are a tough team now. They
Yeah.
do seem like they're improving. But what do you think the best thing that y'all, or the one thing y'all need to improve after the offseason to continue winning games?
I think we have to. I think the receivers other than Ayuk and Kittle, I think the backups have to step up and make plays or to get open, because at a certain point you can't just somebody else has to get open, you know, somebody else has to get involved. I mean, I understand you got Kittle, Ayuk, and McCaffrey.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge problem. You need a 4th guy on your team.
But at a certain point, I mean, I would okay. I wouldn't even put it on just them. I think I have to put it on Kyle, the head coach, because as I just said, we have all these. Even without Debo and Trent, you still have one of the top rosters in the NFL, and you only can manage just 17 points in the last 3 games. I think that's a kind of a head scratcher for someone who has been claimed as an offensive genius. And so I think that's something that we need to fix going for the next couple games and just going into the playoffs. Because I mean, you're gonna see us in the playoffs. I mean, I don't want to say that just because we lost 3 games straight that means we're out of the playoffs. I mean, we're gonna be there. So it's just how do we get there now? How do we work up to being the team that I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that we are one of the top teams, not even in the NFC, just in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say I do know that Brock Purdy suffered a concussion with the first game y'all lost, or the last week.
Yeah, on Monday night against the Vikings.
Yeah, so he could be a little shaken up right now with the concussion, kind of just playing with a little head injury, and that could be something. Obviously, a bye week gives him enough time to heal, hopefully. But yeah, I will say though, the Bengals, they do look like the old Bengals right now. Joe Burrow is playing spectacular football with Jamar Chase, and I mean, they did the same thing last year. I guess
Slow.
they just like to make everybody nervous for a little while before stepping on the gas and just going through teams later in the season. Starting off 0-2 again, and now looking like they could make a playoff run again. You can never count out Joe.
Exactly. I mean, I think people forget who Joe. I think people forget who Joe is. I mean, even though he was hurt, he's still. I think him being more healthy, I feel like now it's a little scary now because as you can see, they put up 31 points on the Niners, and I think that's just the beginning. I think now this is where they start to make that push.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Joe looks better. He looks like he can move around the pocket fantastically. And he still has 3 great receivers, and they obviously didn't trade T. Higgins, so they're going to keep him the rest of the year. I think the front office thinks that they can still make a push this season, or they would have gotten rid of him. So, they're doing pretty well, and hopefully they continue. But we do have to talk about the one big upset this week. The Broncos beat the Chiefs.
I think it was a matter of time that the Broncos win against the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs beat them.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes has lost to the Broncos since he's been in the league yet.
I think the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs,
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning was the quarterback. That was
wild.
Yeah,
a while ago.
So it's always great to see just upset. I mean, like we said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's college, high school, NFL. You always love to see a great upset.
I did not think the Broncos was going to win this week against the Chiefs. I did not think this was the time. I mean, the Broncos earlier in the season losing 70-20, come out and beat the number 1 team in football. Like that doesn't make any sense sometimes.
I mean, do you think they go on a run now? I mean, I think you're feeling pretty high. You just beat really your division champs, really your conference champs.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say I don't like fully how Broncos fans are talking about the game. Apparently, Patrick Mahomes had the flu. That's what immediately they go to after a loss. Sometimes you just lose games. That happens. Patrick Mahomes did have a pretty poor game, but maybe. It was a cold game out there. Cold games are tough. At least it wasn't snowing like it was supposed to. It was supposed to be, I think, 4 to 8 inches. But the Broncos did play a good game, and I was surprised. I bet a lot of people were surprised.
I think this year, I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed the Chiefs, they're not like the Chiefs that they've been these last couple of years.
100%.
I think it's something off about them this year.
I think they need that receiver. I'm surprised they actually didn't go get a receiver today. They still have Travis Kelce, obviously, but it just seems like their receiving core it needs improvement, 100%. And hopefully, I mean, they're thinking Rasheed Rice can step up in the back half of the season, the rookie that they drafted. But you know, Darius Toney and Sky Moore, all these other receivers on the team, they seem like they've been disappointing this year, and that makes them feed Travis Kelce a lot more. And I don't know how long you can feed Travis Kelce, a 34-year-old, before something bad could happen, because that's just a lot of volume for a person who's that old. But yeah.
Any games this upcoming Sunday that you're looking forward to?
Saints game. Of course. Games that are coming up this week. I think this is another week for the test the Bengals, just to see if the Bengals are gonna play well. They play the Bills. It should be a good matchup.
Hopefully nothing happens this time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing. I hope nothing like that ever happens again in a football game ever, because that was definitely a weird situation. And obviously we're all glad that DeMar Hamlin is okay. Another game that I think should be a good game is actually kind of like maybe a surprising pick. Is the Seahawks versus the Ravens, and I think the Seahawks have been kind of impressing people recently. I mean, they're not really talked about that well, but they have a pretty good record at the moment, and just kind of sneakily staying good, being steady, having Kenneth Walker, DK, Lockett, the rookie cornerback that they have, Witherspoon. I think. Yeah. Just like all around, just doing pretty good and playing good football and just consistently pulling out wins. It should be a good. I mean, this is a test for them more than the Ravens. The Ravens have been playing fantastic the last 2 weeks, so I want to see what the Seahawks can do to a good team like the Ravens.
I mean, it hurts for me to say, but the Seahawks are currently leading our division. And going into the season, I've always been kind of mindful of the Seahawks, because even they're not a bad team. Like I think we said earlier, they're right.
We put them right at 11, 12 last week in the rankings. Yeah.
I think they're always a team they're a sneaky team. That
I still think they're right around there. Maybe they broke in the top 10, maybe the 9 through 11 kind of seeding. They're good. They're not fantastic. They're not showboaters or anything, but they're winning football games, which is
that's all that matters.
You need to do. Yeah. I also think is the Chiefs in Miami play this week?
Yeah, in Germany at 9 a.m. Not even 9 a.m. At
9 a.m. for us, probably 12 for them.
8:30 a.m.
That should also be a good game. I mean, it's another game for Miami to prove themselves, because now everybody's looking at them and they're saying, are y'all frauds? You have lost to teams that are all losing schedules or losing records right now, and losing to the teams that have winning records. So they have to show that they can do stuff with the teams that are the best in the world right now. I think.
But do you think the Chiefs dropped 2 straight games?
I'm never going to count out Patrick Mahomes. You can't. I mean, he could win every single game that you've ever thrown him in. He has a ridiculous winning record right now in his career. But it's possible. It's possible the Chiefs lose 3 games. Miami just has to do what they need to do best, and
score.
Score
more than Mahomes. Really.
Yeah.
That's. I feel like if you score more than Mahomes, then
you win. Actually, 100% of the time.
Pretty much. And another game that I think I'm gonna be watching is the Cowboys and Eagles game.
That's definitely. Divisional matchup. That's definitely a good game to watch.
I think this might be an actual test for both teams to see how they both line up to each other. Because obviously they're gonna play each other again, but then they're both. I don't say they're both hot right now. Even though Dallas, they beat the Rams and the Chargers, they're not really great teams.
Dallas, I think they're winning the games they're supposed to right now.
Yeah.
They're having trouble with the games that they need to win, and obviously this is a divisional matchup and a game they definitely want to win. But Eagles have also been playing fantastic football, especially A.J. Brown, doing just numbers on the field, having a great time playing. I agree with you. That should be a good game to watch.
And then, what about the Monday night game, Jets and Chargers? I don't know. I think I'm taking the Jets.
It right now. I was about to say the same thing.
I'm taking the Jets.
I'm also going to take the Jets right there. The Chargers, there's something about it. They have the roster, it seems like. they just when it's that time to win, they just
They
find a
just
way to lose. And the Jets, I mean,
they
they've
get
been impressing everybody right now. I think with Zach Wilson at least, just winning games and just staying kind of afloat and not having a totally horrible season, you know.
yeah.
And Brees Hall looks like a fantastic running back again. Seems fully recovered from his ACL tear last year, so you know they've been playing well. So I mean, it should be good.
I think yeah. I was gonna say I think that's a I think especially with it being in New York or New Jersey,
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I think this is a game for the Jets to win. I think if they are able to minimize Justin Herbert and get to him with the defense, I think this would be a very winnable game for them.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree.
I feel like that will put them in even a better standing in the AFC.
I mean, dude, this talk of like just the Jets doing good, potentially making the playoffs. It doesn't
It's
make
crazy.
sense to me. It's like, is Aaron Rodgers gonna come back? I mean, that sounds too early. That doesn't sound plausible to me. The more at first I was saying it as a joke, but now
But now-
the more of a possibility it feels like. I mean, who knows? He has said that he's had a little bit of a kind of a stalling on his rehabilitation.
Probably because he's not wearing his cast.
Because he's just going really fast in his rehabilitation. On the Pat McAfee show, I mean, he talks about it every week. It's the biggest news ever. Is Aaron Rodgers going to play the same year he tears his ACL at age 39? Who knows? We'll figure it out. Well, anyways, I think that's going to be it for us this week on the football huddle. If you want to check out some articles that we write about obviously high school football and college football. And some pro football articles out there. It's obviously right above us, gridironfootballusa.com. Keep an eye out. I mean, we have our Senior Bowl coming up in December, end of December. So we're sending out invitations right now to the players and everything, and that should be a fun game to watch. And we'll obviously be producing it on our Twitter and Instagram and showing you all the best plays of the seniors of senior football players all around high school and everything. And you have anything else to say before we check out?
Just make sure to go to our website and also follow our Instagram and Twitter.
Both that Twitter is Gridiron Football with one L at football, and then our Instagram is Gridiron Football. So we're gonna sign off, and we'll talk to y'all next week about everything that's happened with LSU, Saints, and high school. So,
Hopefully, at LSU win.
Hopefully an LSU win. Hopefully we're pretty excited on next week when we film this show. With that, we'll see y'all next week.